Welcome back, everyone. More Starladder, Season 11 European action. It's going to be the 4 anchors and a sea captain going up against the HellRaisers. We've already seen once today, and they did look pretty good going up against my Insanity. Early on, it was pretty much pure domination from the HellRaisers Dota 2 squad. But before we get too far, I'm Helium, with me, Blaze. What's up? What's good?
This game is going to be good, man. This is probably our best matchup
Bold
here
prediction.
today. And, you know, who knows? I mean, obviously, it could be as clowny as can be, but I'm expecting some pretty good things. HellRaisers were looking really strong in their game we saw earlier today. For ASC, obviously, have shown some real potential in the past couple of months, so hopefully they're bringing their A game here today. But kind of surprised that the bans took so long from HellRaisers. Not sure if there was a disconnect issue there from the captain, Gorek, or if that just was them really being contemplative about what heroes are going to ban out. But they're down to 23 seconds reserve time, and we're looking for their second pick. Death Prophet already online. Really not much intel you can get from that pick. You know that they're going to be kind of working together as a team. They're not going to be completely writing this out because DP needs a hero behind her. They need an entire lineup behind her because of the fact that she is kind of that anchor that is able to deal the damage, but is also the focus that 4ASC will go on. So Dazzle's a good hero to kind of go for that death ball, and we'll have to see if it's going to live up to the task of keeping her alive.
Really, I would be looking forward to sort of the way Fear played Dazzle in that core position. I think that could be really fun. I don't know if we'll do it. Not a lot of teams are, but
Don't think so.
yeah. But you know, a man can dream, right? Like, can I dream?
No dreams allowed. Dream is dead. Death Prophet, Dazzle, ET for HellRaisers maybe. That would be really strong because natural order, negative armor from Weave, and oh yeah, there's ghosts.
There are ghosts, potentially bats, whatever skins she might have, or rares. God, I can't keep track of what they're called. Switching between Dota and CS:GO. I call them rares in CS. People get confused. I call them skins in Dota. People are like, what?
I think everybody should pretty well understand the...
You would think, but I don't know. There's a lot of salt out there on the internet. I don't know.
And people get picky. It doesn't matter. If they understand it, that's the point. So let's get into our MOBA game here and see what's cracking.
Got
for
Ogre.
Florence.
That's what's cracking. There's going to be some crackling of the flames from the multicasts.
Yeah, so I mean, a strong pick to start us off. I mean, he's going to be able to bring in the disable the damage, and with his insane durability, probably zone somebody out on the offlane pretty effectively here. But where does that bloodlust go? They need a core hero that goes along with them, that he can amplify their attack speed and movement speed and really get them into the fight. But beyond that, he wants another support that he can roam with. The Skywrath Avenge would have been 2 great picks, but for ESC, they take that out themselves. So Tide for now, going to be a great pick for Trixie. He's played some insane Tide games recently, and I think they're really paving the way for something like a Slark here. I mean, if they get the Bloodlust on the Slark, get the Tide disables in the action, they can cause a lot of damage and set him up for some great success here. But that's just me really fanboying over Matoma Man's way that he plays that hero, and obviously there are plenty of cores that will work better with or equally well with this duo.
Sea creature strat confirmed, do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Naga, Tide, Slark, and Slardar. I guess Morphling would be the water.
Nice, nice. Good combo, good theme.
You know what I want to see from Morphling, just to bring that hero up again for no reason, is like an Arcana where he has like fish swimming inside of him.
I totally gave you that idea. Like,
yeah, I think it was you.
So, nice
nice steal,
copyright.
And then call out immediately. Alright, next time I cast with someone else, I'll bring it up like it's my idea.
Nice, nice. Very original.
I made this.
It's Inception.
I made
right
this,
there.
Blaze.
I made this. No, I made this. But yeah. Needs your profit ban out, HDAP pushing ban out. Nobody wants the globals to worry about. Everybody wants to be really in the trench, in the lane, and worrying about who's blinking in, not who's transmitting some kind of damage output from across the entire map. Omninet also has some global capacity with the Aghanim Scepter, so really, we just hate the Earth here.
I'm sad he got nerfed.
I think he deserved the nerf, 100%. I'm considering. I mean, like, I honestly think he could go for another round of nerf.
Or I wish they kept the regen on the buildings at least. And you know what? I think the strategy was, I think it was Ice Frog didn't want anyone else to be able to heal towers except for Trient.
Yeah, you need to buff pseudo buff.
Pseudo buff Trient. Yeah, exactly. Whatever, man.
Stealth buff, I guess, is a better one, but whatever. Void going to be banned out here, so that's going to be allowing Death Prophet to most likely get her exorcism off in every fight. And the Slark will be picked up from HellRaisers, so no Mutumba Man Slark. It is going to be the Nightcrawler for the side of HellRaisers. Artez probably picking that one up.
Yeah, we've seen a ton of Slark recently, and it's been pretty dominant in all of the appearances. The hero just proving so hard to lock down. Like most games, like the enemy team gets a hex, and you're like, yeah, we hexed the core hero, we'll kill it. But Slark, even with the hex, you're rarely fast enough that there's not a Dark Pact or a Shadow Dance, and either one is going to get him out of there. So I think today, though, that Timbersaw was definitely an answer to dealing with the Slark, being able to just blow him up even in the Shadow Dance. That was really fun to see, and that was Gorak that played it. But this time, they'll be the ones with the Slark.
Yeah, and the PA pick was really good too because he couldn't really do damage to her when he wanted to, and yeah, PA strong overall, just absolutely obliterating the support. So that Slark's pretty much the lone ranger there. But yeah, Zeus going to come out here. It does have some detection capabilities for dewarding. It's also something that HellRaisers might consider picking up for their own lineup because the Slark and Zeus duo does work very well as far as establishing some really dominant map control between the Shadow Dance and the Lightning Bolt. But beyond that, Zeus is just a strong hero right now in general, and when you're looking for heroes that can burst somebody down unexpectedly, like the Death Prophet, you want somebody with that high damage output. And multicast, Lightning Bolt, I don't even want to think about how much DPS they can really put out between these two heroes.
Lightning Bolt.
Yes.
Obligatory.
Especially if they bring it out to the real world center, then it's over 9,000 damage. But Jakiro is going to be the pickup here, and surprised it's not the Elder Titan. Maybe it's something that HellRaisers didn't practice as much. I mean, Dread, he kind of sticks to a lot of tried and true heroes. So he and their other support player, Gotham, probably more comfortable with this duo here. Dazzle and Jakiro, a lot of push, and not really going to be emphasizing killing people as much because, honestly, the Zeus is already pretty squishy.
Man, their armor reduction coming out from the Dazzle, potentially, with that big weave, is going to really amplify the Slark's damage. Also, the fact that he's maybe going to have a second life with some good, well-timed, shallow graves coming out from the Dazzle. It's going to be pretty big. Both Slark and the Death Prophet will really, really need focus down, and that could be a problem for the Anchors. They do have quite a bit of AoE. You got the potential for the spread of the flames on Ignite, but also the Ravage, Anchor Smash, Zeus's ult, and if Zeus is just nearby casting spells, the static field is going to be absolutely incredible. And now they'll even go for the Weaver, just a bit of a slipperier hero. I mean, you're looking at this lineup, not a whole lot of stuns. The Pounce, I guess, which you can get around with Time Lapse, and Ice Path, which can be dodged with the move speed usually, and Death Prophet not going to have a stun until she finishes up the Yules. Although that silence can be a little bit annoying.
Both teams tapping down to 1 second reserve time here, so they are just on the wire.
And we started on time, too, so there was no penalty for that reserve.
Shouldn't be. So in that situation, it's just both of them have been thinking about these the first few picks for HellRaisers, the last few picks for 4ASC, and trying to pull the secret strat out that'll be able to work through this. Again, I still really would have enjoyed an Elder Titan here because you're talking about the negative armor helping Slark out. That's pretty big. The magic damage is all from Pounce, and Dark Pact is also amplified. And also, Pounce and Yules are two of the best setups for the ET Stomp. And the Death Prophet obviously goes for Yules every single game. But Rubik here is going to be the final pickup. And
Core Dazzle or Core Jakiro.
Yeah, that does mean that probably the Jakiro will be sent to the offlane here, unless they want to aggro try it up, which I would not recommend. I mean, you're up against Ogre Weaver. That just does not sound fun at all. So I think it is going to be a offlane Jakiro, but you never know. Anyways, for ASC, they pick up the Weaver. Not the best hero against Slark, because he can still be pounced, and then obviously he's a very stat-dependent hero. He likes to go for items with all forms of attributes, and the Eston Shift does take that away. Auto attack after auto attack. But Axe is going to be the final pickup, and this is an insanely good counter to Dazzle. So we're going to... yeah, not bad against Slark. You're absolutely right. He is one of the better controllers against him, too. Puck and Axe, I think, are the top two controllers for Slark with his Shadow Dance and Dark Pact and stuff. Those spells do nothing against the Berserker's Call, and Boogie, he's going to get involved. I think he'll start jungle, most likely, assuming that HellRaisers don't thwart him with the invasive warding. But I think the big thing is how early in the fight Death Prophet's head gets chopped off. She's already a ghost, but you behead her, and it's going to be completely reshaping the team fights.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Looking for the Executioner, or should I say the Executioner. Shout out to my buddy D-Mall. That is his name on Steam.
Nice.
Executioner. So, well played there.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, waiting on the Ogre to get picked up. Really? Someone doesn't want to play Ogre? You don't want the multicast fun?
I think they're just getting their items together. They know what they want to buy when they spawn into the game. So that's usually why you delay the last little moment of picking there. But we're into it now, and I have some high expectations for this game to be very fun, very active, and a little bit dunky.
Oh, yeah, we're looking for the dunks. Get your chocolate chip cookies and milk out, because we're going to be dunking. And, well, look, let's start with the Dream League MVP. He actually fell a little flat the last couple days here. We saw him in Starladder Europe, but it's going to be Jerax, or as I usually just divide it up into JRX on the Ogre Magi. We've got Trixie on the Tidehunter. It looks like the 2-1-2 lanes have been very popular. We'll see if Ogre stays or he was just warding for the Tide. But either way, Tidehunter played by Trixie. We've got Valix here on the middle lane. Going to be Zeus. Boogie, he's going to be the one to execute people. He's playing up on the Axe, and Matumbaman on the Weaver.
Yep. So we'll see now. The things starting off with what you would pretty much expect here. The Jakiro going to the off lane here. That's Gorak for you. Boots first for him. In the mid lane, you're seeing Aphrodinge's Death Prophet, no tally start. Pretty standard stuff. Down in the bottom lane, Artez is going to be the one to block off the creep wave, while the supports Dread and Gotham playing Dazzle and Rubik respectively will be covering up this first rune spawn. A bounty rune for Rubik, getting him towards that level 6 just that tiny bit faster.
And he's level 6. WTF,
Suddenly.
WTF rune mode.
Could you imagine if you just like literally just had a unlimited supply of runes, you could just keep right clicking? Like, how could you, like, how would the meta devolve into just like people constantly like getting zone controlling heroes where you just.
And Rubik is picked up. He will be the one standing on the bottom rune. His role this game.
Well, no, you wouldn't pick Rubik because he can't do anything, and like it literally would come down to the level 1 clash and any kind of AOE.
Yeah.
You would want like Midnight Pulse on that shit, and I don't know, I can't say Macro Power, but Trixie down here bottom lane doesn't have anything, and Kraken Shell trying to fight it out with as best he can. Ring of Protection start is actually something I don't think I've ever seen from the Tide before. We're gonna have to see if there's any Trixie feed going on. Pounce is available for arts, but for now he will fall back and chew into some of those 8 tangos.
I mean, it makes sense, right? You
yeah,
see Tide
definitely.
Hunters get the Stout Shield, and everyone cries about it. Like, oh, it's going to be so useless after 2 points in Kraken Shell, blah. I mean, we see even the, like, Universe. I was watching some of his games. Are we
Trixie.
OOing over Trixie? Grabbing
Yeah,
a
like,
creep wave here?
What is this position?
He's a
This
man.
is absurd.
Oh,
He
nice
loses
play
one
by
of the
Dread.
most
Really
public
nice play
creeps.
by Dread.
Now he's just out by himself. Death Prophet's like, is this a free kill for me? You shouldn't have. But right now he is making his way through, right through the mid lane, and he will be covered up well enough. Not even committing the Crypt Swarm here. Close, but no cigar.
Torde Tide Hunter. Taking a
Jeez.
stroll around.
This is a very interesting way to play the hero.
Yeah, right. We saw that yesterday, right? Where like the level 2 Tide Hunter came over and I think killed Anti-Mage, was like level 8 with just an Anchor Smash or something like that, and suddenly he was level 5. That was the
I remember,
that was in the
one
Na'Vi
killing off
game.
Invoker in mid lane, but I don't remember the one you're referencing.
Or was it Invoker? Right. Okay, I just didn't know the hero and I threw a shot in the dark. I was
Yeah.
wrong.
It's like he went from like
I think it was
5
level
to
2, level 2 to 5, or was it 5 to 7?
5 to 7, but
Oh. I apparently don't have a memory. You'd think the caster named Blaze would not have the memory, but
what the fuck is that supposed to be?
420 Blaze it? I don't know.
So Arts is getting some free farm here. 12 CS for him. Weaver's racking it up, but is he going for the Midas? No, Bottle for now. Gets lane sustain. Jakiro being quite the frustrating hero to go up against with that Liquid Fire. Misses his pull though. He tries to pull to the lane. That doesn't happen with the Satyrs, and Jax is going to get a good flank off here.
Yeah, here we go. Ignite out onto Gorak, and that's going to open things up with the Geminate attack from Matumbaman. Still with a 10-second cooldown on the Sakuchi.
Body
But will they have the
blocks.
damage? Yeah, JRX going to go in for the body blocks, and these body blocks
so
are what got him that
juicy.
MVP title. Now he'll take the tower hits, but
Didn't hit him though.
with 7 armor, it's fine. Yeah, doesn't throw in the right click. Might not have been enough, and he will live and regen up 10.4 after eating that Tango. Ridiculous HP regen. even going to clarity for the mana, but they force a lot out of Gorak. He's actually completely out of mana, and I'm surprised he's even here. I would have just taken the long trip back to base.
Well, we'll see. Obviously, he doesn't have that much to work with, but has to do something. Down bottom, it's going to be Trixie getting pounced upon. They do not have telekinesis any longer, so it should be Trixie getting away. No Orb of Venom on the Slark. He's rushing out that Midas pretty early, it looks like. Beyond that, the mid lane has been quiet as far as hero damage, but obviously there's a lot of mind games going on as far as the CS goes. The advantage goes to Death Prophet here, of course, with her base damage. 20 CS, surprisingly low for the Zeus, only 13. Generally speaking, Arc Lightning guarantees some real kills. On the core here is the Axe Tranquil Boots here, and look at this stack. He's going to go for it again, I believe. Yeah, stack coming out for Bogey here, and I'm curious when he actually gets to start farming this, because the 2 points in Counter Helix, the 1 point in Berserker's Call, I think that it's not the right build to be able to contest this heavy of a hard camp stack.
Yeah, we'll
down
see.
bottom.
Yeah, down bottom is where I was. Trixie, we'll see what he wants to go for. He's already got the Ring of Protection. Probably just gonna casually keep that. I mean, I doubt he's going Tranquils, although we do see a lot being completed. One on the Axe now, one on Jakiro. Boots
Very
up
well
now.
I think I've seen it
You
from him,
think so?
actually. Yeah. If
Alright.
he starts with Ring Protection, it almost makes sense to do that, because you still need to get your Blink up at a good time, but you're going to get Arcane Boots from the Ogre and the Zeus, most likely. I think it's a pretty good idea. Boogie, looking for a gank on mid, not happening, and just getting back to full HP via the Tranquils, so will probably make his way back to the jungle after the top lane gank does not succeed. Unless they want to get crazy aggressive and start creep cutting this tower. First with the
Gorak.
Battle Hunger and dive through the tree line.
Yep, Gorak could be in some trouble here with the Ignite and the Burger Hunger on him. They're going to lock him in there. TP's coming. This is actually going to be the Dazzle. Does he have Shallow Grave yet? He does not. Level
Nope.
3, no Shallow Grave. That's actually pretty common. They usually get it around level 4 unless forced to otherwise. So they'll find the kill there on HellRaisers Gorak. That's also the first blood, and it goes the way of Matumbaman. So very well, he could still look for that that Midas perhaps. He's finishing up the Aquila for now. Goddamn is going to drop now. JRX trying to run away, but will be greeted by the Crypt Swarm by Alpha Ninja, and it's actually a... What? Double kill? Was that, I guess, a straight auto attack still on its way? As Alpha Ninja is already just retreating out of there. Gets the double.
Yeah, he played it very well. Cryptstorm on the Ogre, right-click on the Axe, and down they go. So nice income going the way of the Death Prophet, but a couple of a support and an offlaner pickoff coming the way of that dire top lane. So... Finish off Slark after Trixie mans up against him and actually brings him low.
Yeah, well, Slark went in aggressively with the pounds. Trixie was like, what's up, anchor smash? And then Zeus just ulted, and you know this Slark is like, I escaped from Dark Reef to make that play. Like, what a waste of time. Unfortunate for the poor Slark.
Yeah, maybe a chance for revenge here. Trixie is looking for a hideout in the side shop here. No Tranquil Boots just yet, and the telekinesis connects. Should be going down if the pounce
Oh,
connects,
no.
but Arts is just short.
He's
and
rattled.
Trixie will TP away. Oh, so painful to lose that kill.
Yeah, I actually want to bring up the point of the Tranquil Boots. Like, I don't doubt that it's going to be good early, but you look at Tidehunter, and you always want him to go for the Blink Refresher, and it gets kind of awkward, right? Because if you go Tranquil Boots, you don't have that extra base mana, and that could come back to bite you later in the game, or at least force you to sell those and get mana boots later.
I have seen one really weird build by the Tide. I don't condone it, but I will mention it. Is going Tranquils and going the Blink Refresher, but also going Soul Ring. So he Soul Rings twice.
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
And it's even more mana effective than the Arcane Boots, so you get more out of it. But it costs you a lot of health, and he was playing that against an Ancient Apparition. He literally suicided trying to get a second Ravage
Doesn't
off.
seem like the item choice for that game, but did it work?
No, he suicided to get a second Ravage off. He dies to he shatters.
Oh, he just Soul Ring died.
Yeah, he Soul Ring suicided, and instead of actually getting the team fight, and they got absolutely decimated.
Oh,
But,
Boogie. Coming over to the bot lane again, over to Gorak. Can they get him? There's no call. It looked like there was in range. It doesn't matter, though. They'll find the kill. Dread is here as well, now completely out of mana, and his Grave even going to be completely countered by Boogie now level 6. You can execute through that. And bottom lane will go Artest, jumping onto Trixie once more. Has Shadow Dance available. Zeus with no ultimate. Not for another 70 seconds, actually. I guess it was just used to start off the fight up top. Didn't quite notice. I missed the recap. It started fading before I clicked on it.
Well, yeah. The T-Gods was what set up the kill on the Dazzle and threatened the Jakiro, obviously. well, no, the Jakiro went down and the Dazzle did not. Sorry, I mixed that up. But anyways, that was the reason it got so low and that they didn't have to use the Berserker's Call. Max's mana is important, yo. But
Oh,
Gorak
no,
takes
Gorak.
more hits, ignites the Swarm.
They could go for this. Like, who cares about the tower? Weaver's fast enough to get past it. Ogre can take the hits. They'll throw out another stun onto Gorak. The Ice Path needs to be dodged, but I mean, actually no time lapse for another 10. I think he'll be fine though with the bottle regen, and now he's in between an Ogre and a Bug. A rock in a hard place, and the dragon will fall once more. 0 and 3. More deaths than he has heads.
Yeah, Arts is 10-5 with Slark, a pretty solid record. Every time I see him, he gets involved early. It seems to suit his playstyle quite well. Like, he doesn't like to just farm. He's a good farmer, but generally speaking, he wants to get involved. He plays heroes like Razor, plays heroes like Slark, because he can actually contribute to the team fights at an earlier stage in the game. And this is like a game where you really need that kind of a hero, because if not, the Zeus is going to get big, the Weaver is going to get huge, the damage is going to be real from these nukers, and it's just going to be too late for HellRaisers to get involved. As far as one thing I want to comment on is the support levels. It's very important for Dazzle to get his early start, and despite 2 TP rotations, he actually is doing pretty well in that department. Level 5 has an experience per minute of 171, and yeah, I think he is going to be able to actually commit to some real progression here. No Shallow Grave just yet. A lot of people will complain about that, but you have to realize he's up against an Axe.
Yeah.
Shallow Grave is almost a useless spell in this game. We're going to see it maybe save 1 life the entire game. He'll hold on to that skill point for now.
Indeed, and Artes going to go here onto Trixie. The Ravage is available, but will he throw it? Actually, yeah, he's going to go for it because the Ogre is here. The Ignite will go out now onto Artes, and he will survive. Shadow Dance up. He's going to go ahead and scurry on away. They're looking for the Ice Path, and that's a big kill for the HellRaisers. They'll get one onto Trixie's Tidehunter, as here you go, man, is going for the Tranquil Soul Ring, so we're going to see that build coming out for sure.
Yeah, at least it's not up against an AA this time. I could see it working theoretically, but we'll see. For now, Boogie taking down this big stack here. This is what he's been waiting for, building up for a long time, and now he jumps up to 1960 on the gold count here. Really nice for Axe to be able to build up. And, yeah, he's going to have that Blink Dagger in no time at all. This is really good timing for him. And he did max Helix, so it's not only a jungle build, but a hey, I want to get people hitting me build, and he needs to start making those Blink calls happen.
The Midas will come out actually about 10 minutes and 30 seconds here for the Weaver. So he does go for the Aquila, picks up the Midas afterwards. He's having a good game. He's already onto a killing spree. And we'll go over to the net worth where he's actually in second place. This Death Prophet with good CS from Alpha Ninja. Exorcism now in the bottom lane onto the tier 1 tower here as they will look to strike first in towers on the side of HellRaisers. I mean, it makes sense. They got Liquid Fire. They've got the Death Prophet Exorcism as well. Actually, no points in Essence Shift. That's something that can help Slark really push towers. I know you talk about that a lot. After the team fights, Slark is really strong if he lives through them.
Well, not for level 1 Essence Shift. That should only last 15 seconds.
True.
But later on, it becomes a core mechanic to his ability to snowball momentum. But for now, it's actually the dominance on top lane that we obviously see. Boogie is going to start creep cutting here. I'm almost positive because he does have 4 Helix. But you have to keep in mind who's on the map right now, who's off the map, rather. So a little dangerous. But if he gets the opportunity, he sees people committing bottom or mid, that he's just going to be cutting the waves. So right now, Matoma Man takes the tower down pretty low here. It is going to drop to 192 before it is defended by the Jakiro, but that is a 1 tower advantage for the Jakiro Death Prophet lineup. Who is surprised? Probably no one.
All right, and let's look at Valix. He's also gone for a Soul Ring, so that'll be later on for probably building into... Actually, he might just be going Bloodstone right away, just for the mana. I was thinking that point booster could go in towards an Ags, and you can have the Soul Ring to facilitate some mana usage in the meantime. I guess that decision's really up to the Zeus. He has Tranquils for some mobility. I'm a big fan of just the mobility Zeus, either Force Staff, Blink, or Yules, just so you're not quite as easily caught out, but... We'll see him, I think, just going for either the mana regen of the Bloodstone or the big burst damage with your ultimate.
I think it is going to be the Bloodstone here. It's a very popular item for S4 when you play Zeus, and you're already going Soul Ring a lot of the time anyways when you're playing Zeus. So it's not too big of a digression. It's just a nice enhancement there, and it gives them a much-needed heal in the team fights. Like, Axe wants to keep dunking, and he needs to have some survivability to provide them that. Without a mechanism, the Bloodstone is going to be the next best way to do that, as when Zeus dies, he gives a lot of healing to the opposition, or to his team, sorry. It would be a really bad item if it went the other way.
Bloodstone, new patch notes, heals the other team. I don't think we'd be seeing much of it.
If they like doubled all the stat gains on it and then redirected the heal, it would be a very interesting item.
That'd be pretty funny. That would be insane. Could you imagine? You'd just be like spamming out spells for days.
Yeah, but then of course the enemy team would be gunning you down, looking for that juicy heal.
All right, well, up top, this has been where most of the action has occurred. We still have just the two heroes here. Gorak trying to hold on to that tower that is generally the first tower to fall in most games. I wonder, I don't know if standing that is possible. I know some games have towers recorded, but I'd be curious what the most probable first tower is. It's either this tier 1 or the one that has fallen first already, which is the other safe lane tier 1 or off lane tier 1, depending on your perspective.
Mm-hmm. So, interesting note on the boot choice of the Weaver. The reason that BOTs is really low is because generally when you're 6-slotted, you don't want any boots on the hero because he just can Chikuchi and run actual 6 offensive item slots, which is great, or at least fighting combat slots. The phase boots is really low because, actually we're going to see Valix with the haste run, he's fine. But, yeah, on the phase boots, essentially your Chikuchi, casting any spell removes the phase boots buff. So when you're Shikuchiing every 6 seconds, you're not getting your full duration phase boots very frequently, at least not when you're max movement speed. So it cuts into it pretty heavily, but the AD, the attack damage, is really, really strong, so it is still a worthwhile pickup. It just doesn't give you the survivability that Treads does. So he does need to go for a defensive item next.
Exorcism's available here. We see a lot of traffic here in the middle lane. Alpha Ninja wants to push towers.
Oh, nice kill top.
And actually up top, they'll get the tower kill. And, well, they find an actual kill. Matumba Men going to be 1 versus 2 in that awkward moment where Rubik steals Sakuchi. At least now, when they pass to each other, they do damage. Buff to that spell is that it hits invis. It used to be hilarious back in the day when everyone was just using it and not hurting each other. And actually, Rubik falls. I turn away, and who comes over but the axe? And we miss. Was that the dunk, or?
Yeah, he did chop his head. He got the blink. He got the dunk. He had a sentry ward. So, pretty good time.
Middle lane, where I thought the action was going to be. Nothing actually happens. Everyone just throwing out some spells and trading them back and forth as they look to push into the enemy's tower. This tier 1 middle not taking too much damage right now. Jakiro again here to defend, but Boogie really looking for more. He's finished up the blink dagger. He's got a kill. He's already up to another 1,200 gold. And I mean, where do you go next here on the axe? Do you want to just go for a 4-staff maybe? Some more mobility, utility for your team?
Some tank would be good. I'm not saying Crimson Guard or anything, but just some survivability. I've seen interesting items like the Rod of Atos actually work pretty well for the hero. Yule Scepter can have its own unique purposes. Aghanim Scepter is always fun. And you are up against the Dazzle lineup, so you want to just keep dunking. I could see a lot of different ways, but I would not go Force next. Oh, Invisrune. He's actually going to blink out of the Poison Touch, but yeah, it's just a D ward versus D ward.
Now, this might be a dumb question, but does Crimson Guard, is that going to block out the Exorcism Spirit damage?
It's not a dumb question, but it will not block that. Exorcism cannot be nullified by anything but armor.
All right. I would just like
and
to
Ghost
remind
Scepter.
Twitch
Ethereal.
chat that
Sorry.
there are no dumb questions.
Sorry. Ethereal, like Ghost Scepter and such also. Decrepify and stuff can block it too.
Yeah, going Ghost form because it is physical. All right, Dread in the middle lane trying to farm up. Does actually have that point in Shallow Grave now. He won't be taking a 4-0-4 build as... Well, he guess he'd need level 9 for that. But he's about to be level 8, which is doing pretty well. Looking at the levels, it's level 7. That's the lowest. Rubik, actually, yeah, just Rubik and Ogre level 7 as Dazzle will flip over to 8 right now in the middle lane. Our net worth leader, 8.2k. Matumbaman on the Weaver. And we got a big pickup here. Tidehunter Trixie will find the Tranquils, the Soul Ring, and now that big old Blink Dagger coming online. 0-4-4-1. No points in Gush for Trixie on the big green.
Yep, so I mean, he doesn't obviously need it right now. Oh, interesting movement there. Got him with the Shikuchi. He went right back through. The 2 Sentry Wards, perhaps ways to know they will get the call, and they will get the kill. I'm not sure if they needed the Sentry Ward to find that, but in the end, they bring down the pesky Rubik, who is pulling shenanigans in the enemy jungle, only to lose their tower. But I have to say, that doesn't feel worth it.
Sounds like space was created.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Tide's going to jump over, though, onto Gora. Can't slow him down because he doesn't have any points in Gush, and he doesn't want to throw the Ravage just for that Jakiro, who, I mean, it was an offlaner, and he does have a bit of net worth behind him. Not much, though, 3.6k. The offlane went a lot better for the Tidehunter. He's about 1,000 gold ahead of this Jakiro. Jakiro, no surprise, Tranquil Boots and looking for the Yule's Scepter of Divinity, as Goddamn will once again steal up that Sakuchi, and it's really freaking annoying to play Weaver against Rubik.
Oh yeah, he'll always do that. I mean, the time lapse may be even a better skill for Rubik in some situations, but the frequent one that you're going to pretty much always be able to steal is the Shikuchi, so you just have to kind of expect it. And it's really frustrating because you can Shikuchi telekinesis and catch you off guard. They get one stun, then they follow it up with some others, and you're in a bad way. In this case, there's only the threat of being silenced after that, maybe Ice Path, but Chain Stun is still a potential way to lose it. Oh god, gets lightning bolted. They will follow it up with the Thunder God's Wrath. Nice play from Volix, and another easy pick. This Rubik just gets so aggressive whenever he has the spell. It's invisibility, it's not immortality.
Lies, it's immortality. Well, while that Thunder God's Wrath only nets a kill on a support, it does also provide some intel, of which Ogre doesn't do anything with that intel because he's still around in the middle lane where he will get picked off by the 3 heroes of HellRaisers that were approaching. And they were seen approaching, again, because of the Zeus ult. Oh well, says the Ogre. He's not the smartest hero in the game.
He did go 4-staff next. Very interesting. So,
boom.
The mobility and the mana is nice, but and he is going to be pretty squishy here. He does have to worry about kind of just being like shadow wave bombed. I mean, he only has the 8 armor thanks to the Tranquil Boots. He pretty much has to initiate at full HP. He can never go into like half-ass a fight. Like, Dax loves to kind of man up, but in this situation, he's going to have to play a little more tentatively, a little, I don't know. It brings utility to a hero.
It's really cool because what you can do, you can jump in on one, and when you get that Berserker's Call, like they all face Axe, right? So you know which way the enemy's facing, and then you can force death people off of that, like into your team or away from your team, I guess. Also, add on top of that just the usual utility of saving your allies. But it's the Berserker's Call and force staffing of the enemies that can be pretty unique with
has
this
the Yules.
Valix might be... yeah, he's going to be okay. Artes actually might be the one in danger now. The Thunder God's Wrath is going to go out. They're looking for the multi. They don't even need it as the...
That's a big DD rune too.
The Blast and the Lightning Bolt are going to be enough. Goddamn is going to melt over here to the Ignite. A little unfortunate for him. Alpha Ninja now throughout the Exorcism. Halftime on it. Are they going to keep going for him? I mean, either way, this Exorcism didn't do anything for the team right now, and Ravage was used up there as HellRaisers will actually lose 4 across the board. The Anchors here, while there is a 4 in their name, they lose nothing.
So, in this position, they're looking really strong. The Blink initiation is real, and the Slark just can't get as involved as he'd like to be. Like, the nukes are extremely potent from the side of 4AC. He got gunned down by the Ogre and the Zeus very early, and that's what the lineup's meant to do. I mean, look at Dread, for example. The Blink call is a moment away if he wanted to really get aggressive, but he didn't have the 4-staff off cooldown, so he couldn't disengage.
Yep, game is starting to look pretty hard here for HellRaisers. Let's look at Slark items. He does go for the minus for the Blink, so as long as the game continues for a pretty long duration, Slark will be able to pick up those big items. Probably looking for the Scotty next. BKB is maybe kind of nice because Zeus is pumping out a lot of damage, but you got to watch out for the Berserker's Call still. That'll go through
I think BKB is still a necessity here, even with that fact. So obviously the Weavers right clicks and the Call will go right through, but you look at the other 3 heroes, freaking Zeus, Ogre, and Tide. Like, how can you not go BKB against
and I just pulled up the teamfight recap. Zeus in that last fight did a little bit short of 3,000 damage already at just the 22-minute mark. That's pretty insane. And Matumba wow, actually the direct back damage comes through. Dying a mid-time lapse animation, a little unfortunate for Matumba. Could have possibly thrown it out a bit earlier. He'll die having completed up that Lincoln's, Phase, Aquila, Midas, and Lincoln's at 22 minutes with the Midas means big items in his future. Probably looking at the Desolator next.
Is this axe going Blade Mail? Not a fan of that.
No?
No, I mean, there's no quick, like, crazy damage going on. There's no Skywrath ultis or stuff that you're going to nullify. The extra
it's okay against Exorcism, right?
It's not terrible, that's true, but I don't know. It's just like you don't even have that much HP that you're working with.
Macro Pyre.
Yeah, that's true, But
I agree with the HP, though, right? Like, he's pretty squishy. If he stands in Macropyre, he might die. Who is standing in Macropyre right now is Valix, and he will die. So there you go. Jakiro netting them a kill. Now Boogie in a little bit of trouble. The chainmail not going to be enough to keep him up through that. And the exorcism committed here, finds 2 kills, and it will also find a tower. Fortify not, okay, it will be used. I didn't think they'd even throw it down. I guess they'll waste some time. You do have Ogre, I guess, farming. That's the only hero farming right now for anchors. So that's a really, really good turn of events for HellRaisers. They're going to go for more. Buybacks are
they
here.
won't be able to
Could be a
take
bit
this.
much.
They'll be able to bring it extremely low, and then they will have to back off. They leave it at half HP, and they are already on their way out. Smart to do that before the potential Ravage decimates them. Obviously, the Thunder God's Wrath will be coming in 10 seconds, so scary stuff. Anyways, yeah, this axe just needs more HP right now. Like, he's got good mitigation. He's got, I mean, Berserker's Call obviously gives you a huge amount, bonus armor of 40. So he's got this physical damage survivability, but he is really just lacking raw HP. 1200 is nothing, and a little bit of magical damage coming out, he's going to be just melting to it. So definitely think either a Heaven's Halberd if the BKB isn't in sight for the Slark, or maybe you just move in towards at least a Vid booster for now, so maybe a Heart later. Alpha Ninja and Viz, they kind of cross paths, but the Sentry Ward's in the wrong place.
Yeah, dropping out some new wards as they look to push onto the tier 1, as 4 anchors have only taken that, really, the first easy tier 1 off the table. They'll go for the safe lane tier 1 now. Look to infest the jungle, maybe a little bit more to HellRaisers, make sure no one's in there farming. Although I'm not sure anyone has been for the most part. We'll see Rubik clearing up some stacks on the way back to base, I think. But other than that, haven't noticed too much stacking going on from HellRaisers. Yeah, actually, maybe I'm just not paying attention. There's a stack right there.
So, I mean, there hasn't been a major fight breaking out just in these past minute or so, so it's going to calm down. People are going to spread out a little bit, because as far as initiation goes, neither side feels really confident. The Tide obviously being the easier way to get things done in a full clumped skirmish, but when you consider HellRaiser's position, they're up against an Axe, they're up against a Tide, they do not want to group up. They're going to spread things out, they're going to limit the potential impact of the Ravage and such, and it's going to be just a spread the map game for them, while there is kind of that brute force push down bottom. And Weaver, I mean, he's looking pretty good. He's got the Bloodlust on him, he's got that Linked Sphere, Midas. Yeah, he's just able to chew through this tower pretty quickly, and it's going to get some free gold off the table. I don't know if Rubik can get this deny. It does the wrong skill order, so no deny for him. And it's going to be almost a Ravage onto 2, but a nice Yules from Gorak. Can he get out? I guess they won't commit the Ravage just onto 1, and here's the Thunder God's Wrath for damage up top and bottom.
Yeah, Gorak, Matumbaman still not going to give up the chase. He's going for it. He'll Sakuchi straight into an Ice Path, and even with the Gemini attack, won't be able to find it. And who else is still down here? It's Artes. He's going to Shadow Dance up. The Ravage is actually still available, so I doubt that HellRaisers are going to look to re-engage. And up top, it looks like there was some fighting going on, but I don't see anybody dead. So.
Exorcism was forced, but
wow.
they were kind of scared by
That's big,
all
though.
the nukes. Yeah. Volix goes Lightning Bolt Thunder Gods on the Death Prophet. They also Battle Hunger her. So all she can do is disengage, and she doesn't get the tier 2 top with her Exorcism. So that is pretty huge. She does get her BKB, though, so once she does come online with her next ultimate, she'll be level 16 with a 10-second BKB, and that's damn scary.
Indeed it is. And Roshan, we saw it cleaned up really early in the last game by the Dire Squad that had that Enigma to go in there and do it. So far, the anchors haven't gotten around to it. They're on the Dire side. They can always ult, you know, if they get scared, find out where HellRaisers are. So I think Roshan is a pretty realistic next objective for them. Also looking at this Radiant Tier 1, it's still pretty healthy. They'd love to bring that down, open up the map just a little bit more for their Blink heroes to find those big Blink initiates, right? Like Blink on Axe, Blink on Tide, all that AoE disable. Try to find some more kills. While they have found 12 and still have a 5-kill advantage, the game is pretty even. Looking at the graphs, 2,500 gold favor for the anchors and 5,000 experience. At most, it was about 8k experience and 5k gold, but even then, still not that big of a lead.
Yeah. The Blade Mail does come out for Axe, kind of a minor segue towards maybe something bigger and better. At the moment, I don't think it'll do much against the BKB of the Death Prophet. And Slark, he's got a Scotty now. He's looking pretty good. Right on top of Jerex. Will not be able to bash him down, so Jerex will be able to TP away. But they don't have an Ogre for this fight. Matumbaman's going in.
All right, and Gorak with the Yules, but the play, the ult, the pressing of R will result in a kill for the Zeus. And was it even
Beautiful R
nearby?
press. Just beautiful. The best R press you've ever seen.
Yeah, elegant. Didn't even hear the key. His fingers are that gentle. Here we go, Boogie.
Oh,
Looking for
that
some more. Gonna
taunt
blink
actually
for it. Look
hits.
at the pounce. It still went through. He has to run back in. Artes, the Shadow Dance goes out. There's not another call for 2 seconds. Can they find a pounce? He actually blinks away first, having not taken the damage. And now the pounce coming off a cooldown. This time the call. He didn't actually use the call, though, so forcing another 3. And let's see if he can get it. Blink Dagger up in 2, pounce in 2. Artes, yeah, he's going to be away. Home free for the little Slurk.
So, anyway, there's a part of my argument against the Blade Mail. It just doesn't, Sark doesn't care, and the Death Prophet won't when she has her BKB. So unless it's a perfect initiation where Exorcism is up and BKB is not. No.
Oh, the Grave goes out. There's no axe around in this fight quite yet as he was off chasing the Solark. And wow, that's a really big kill on Weaver. He'll bring him down the Yule Scepter into the Macropyre. Now Trixie going into the pit, trying to use the vision blockers long enough. And it works! The Ice Path is off the mark! And that's a pretty unique way. We actually saw it the other day with Slark activating his passive on the vision blockers. So that's pretty cool. It's a nice heads-up play from Trixie.
Jeez, that was so close, but Gorek feels pretty rotten about that one now.
Yeah, he was expecting him to run back all the way to Roshan and like maybe blink. It was just not. He could have easily covered up the entire entrance with an ice path, but decided not to.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't seem like it was a very risky situation. You don't see a tie getting out of that one, generally speaking.
Nope.
You see him maybe looking to the back of the pit to blink out, and this is just one of those situations where coulda, woulda, shoulda. But we will see Trixie surviving and building bigger items here. He's looking for the Shiva's Guard next. It could, as the statman mentioned, be a casual Mystic Staff, but once you get that, you might as well just finish it off. Scythe is also an option. Not that great against the Slark, but sometimes it can work out pretty favorably. And yeah, so Shiva's Guard is pretty awesome, though. I mean, the reduced attack speed against Slark is huge.
Really big.
Because he really hasn't built attack speed items, so to speak. Like, Power Treads can give 38 with the Agi on, and the Midas gives 30. As well, of course, you get 25 from Scotty. But that's not that high compared to what he could have. Like, he doesn't have Mask of Madness or Yasha. He didn't go the Shadow Blade route. Obviously, the Blink Dagger being preferable in this situation.
Against the Zeus with Shadow Blade would have been pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, the Blink has its limitations against him too, but it's still more instantaneous.
Yeah, he needs something for the extra mobility.
So, yeah, I definitely think that most likely Arts will be going for a BKB next, seeing that Blade Mail, seeing the Zeus, the Ogre getting bigger and bigger. But the Shivas will frustrate him. Aura only, if only the Aura, I mean. But that's assuming it is a Shivas. Obviously, Scythe is a possibility, and it's still a pretty awesome item. But I'm not sure, but as far as that stat, what games can count for those that include both a Shivas and a Scythe, as I would say a 6-slotted Tide is probably looking for both.
Yep. Whew. All right, pause. Most of the games today didn't even last this long, and here we go. HellRaisers versus 4 Anchors. We are resumed at just under the 30-minute mark, and this one looks to be going the distance, as we did just bring up the graphs. But if anyone is just joining us after the pause, there they are again. Only 2,500 gold lead for the Anchors. Same thing in experience. So HellRaisers on a little bit of a comeback here. They've got their big items coming up on Slark. They just took down the Roshan after Trixie had a nice escape in the area. And it's all green. The green movement over here on the Anchors. 4 Tranquil Boots and a Phase. Desolator's there for the Weaver, so some big damage. We've got, more than likely, we talked about the Shivas coming out on Trixie. BKB on the Death Prophet right now. Very much required by most of the members. And we've got some cloaks. One of those supports maybe going to try to turn that into a pipe. Maybe Jakiro does it as well.
Yeah, good casual pickup as well for the against the Zeus. I mean, it's never a bad idea when the Thunder God's Wrath is taking out half your HP. Curious, did he prioritize? He didn't prioritize Nullfield over the 3rd point in TK, but he's ranking it up now. Generally speaking, you go 2 points telekinesis and then max your Nullfield when you're afraid of the magic damage. In this case, he goes 1 extra, and who knows, that tiny bit, 25 extra cast range might do the trick. But either way, it is going to be the man mode on mid lane. They've got all the damage they need. Bloodlust isn't on the Weaver right now. You usually don't put it on the Zeus, but there you go. And it is only 1 point, so Bloodlust is the biggest deal. And Zeus right clicks, best right clicks. Desolator is up for Matumba Man, so any physical damage they put out will be enhanced by that. Mostly just the Weavers, a little bit of Anchor Smash, a little bit of Counter Helix.
Yeah, Zeus might have got the Bloodlust just off a AoE multicast, though.
Yeah, I believe so.
Either way, the move speed is going to be pretty nice on anyone. And what is it ranked up right now? It's only 1 point, so it's just a 10% move speed, which It's nice, but it's not 16%, which is obviously better and the best that the spell can do. All right, 4 heroes for HellRaisers moving out into enemy territory. They're looking for Trixie. He's got the Ravage. If he gets a Ravage and the TPs come in, things could go poorly, but I don't think they even know he's there, and they're just trying to still bring the creep out towards the tower. Gorak is dealing with that. Blink on the Jakiro right now. Middle lane, though, will have to go. Artes jumping on Boogie here. Boogie just force-staffed. Looked like he was planking it up right there. Force Staff is not going to get you out of the Pounce leash. And now JRX trying to get up the hill. Can't quite do it. Caught in Ice Path. Will find the multicast, though, on the Jakiro. JRX will fall, and Boogie's going to go down to Artes in our top right corner there. So finding 2 kills, 10-13 right now. HellRaisers fully on the comeback. Probably after that going to be leading in this game for the first time in a while, if ever.
Yeah. We've done for the Blade Mill actually be like 500 gold off of the Aghanim Scepter. Instead, he's just got the point booster, and they're getting dropped in their base. Shivas comes out, though, and that is an Aghanim's up on the Zeus, level 16. A lot of potential damage coming out here. We'll see if Dread can sustain it with the mech and the heals.
Tower's going down super quick. It's going to fall. This is we have seen a lot of exorcisms this game fall completely flat, but this one doing a crazy amount of work. Valix is going to get picked off, and
Big kill.
he didn't go for the Bloodstone that we talked about a lot, so the full respawn will be actually circumvented by the use of gold. He'll go ahead and buy back. Gold is the best conductor, as Razor would say, which I don't. That's not true, but
It's up there.
it is pretty good. But I would reckon
Dread
it's not
bottom
the
lane?
best.
Dread will go down to the last Gemini. Attack from Matoma Man, and there is the Thunder God's Wrath in mid lane.
Yeah, Cycloning up on himself, making that buyback, trying to make that buyback worth it.
4
Alpha Range with the
HP.
Shivas. He will be able to get away. BKB going to run out now. JRX wants to try to re-engage this, but will he be brought down? He will. And had the Aegis. What? Oh, Aegis was Slark. Just kidding. It looked like it was on Ogre for a second.
Good job there.
It's been a long set of days and a lot of casting and a lot of Dota, so excuse my tired eyes.
Yeah, Slark literally dropped down to 1 HP with his Dark Pack there, and just barely survives the last Arc Lightning coming out from the Zeus. Really close call, but he lives on, and that means he's still sitting at only 2 deaths this game while racking up a very substantial amount of net worth. But Weaver did do a lot down bottom. I don't know if you mentioned it, but he took out the entire bottom lane. Dazzle TP back. Yeah, Dazzle TP back to defend it. Got solo killed by Matoma Man, and Matoma Man just kept going at it. So winning, losing the fight in mid doesn't matter. It's the space that is created. He is able to just absolutely destroy those barracks.
Yeah, it is the melee racks which goes down in the middle lane, so at least they get that one. If it was the ranged, then wouldn't even have been that big of a deal considering the trade that was made there in Fort Anchors. Even with the buyback, I think because they've taken out a whole lane of racks, like they must feel pretty good about that. They've got some tier 2s.
Zeus is the verge of his is it refresher orb? Like they feel this game's in the bag. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Also, the tower and middle, the situation there for HellRaisers is actually really good. For Anchors, it's maybe a little awkward that the tier 1 is actually still there. They're working on the tier 2 in the top lane right now, and probably will go for just taking the trade as Alpha Ninja, Exorcism coming off in 1. They'll probably just right-click this tower down. I think if they are doing anything, they must either base race with the Exorcism or save the Exorcism for the team fight on the TP back. So really good sense for Alpha Ninja to have not used that ability yet.
Did you check what Rubik stole?
No, but I can click on it. He has Ravage.
Yeah, so pretty good spot for him to have that. Maybe going on Matoma Man top lane very shortly. They got 3v1.
There it is!
And their telekinesis will follow.
And yeah, able to correctly chain stun him up. No hope of the time lapse, so really big pick off. He's actually going to be down 470. Meanwhile, most people TP'd back, so they won't continue the push in the bottom lane, and the Exorcism is still available for Death Prophet. Stops to farm the Ancients on the way out. Not the fastest thing for him to do, and honestly, with no vision up there and the TPs having come back, pretty risky, but he's tanky, BKB, Heart, Shiva, slowing down that attack speed, and even going to look to just be in enemy territory across the river, going for a solo pickoff on the Axe. A nice silence, and oh man, he is just playing some games right now. And it's more than just Dota 2. He's got some mind games involved.
So it looks like Arts is pretty confident not to need a BKB here. He's actually been using his skills very well and surviving just by the skin of his teeth. So he's going to keep relying on just the Scotty and Treads to keep him up. And he's going to be going for a Basher here. Cancels TPs, keeps him on his target. I mean, once you're hit by one hit by the Scotty, you're already in a really bad spot as far as getting out. But you add on an Abyssal Blade on top, and there's no hope for you getting out of that one. Your team has to bail you out. Force Staff, often not even enough because he has the Pounce to pursue. So a hero like Weaver has to be afraid of that. I mean, anything taken off his Liquid Sphere, and he has to play as defensively as possible. Bottom lane still pushing in. We can see some Moonwells drop, but the big push is on the top lane. Ravage coming soon.
Yeah. Axe goes in with the call, although the Exorcism going to keep on going, bringing down that tower. This time there's no split push by the Weaver. And they're maybe a little too scared to go and commit to the racks. Gorak goes in like he wants to throw a Liquid Fire, doesn't, still takes some damage, and still will fall almost immediately, so he's hoping, or wishing he put off that fire, and now there's a Dread caught up in that Ravage. Steal again! It's a 4-man Ravager, would have been. Matumbamin was actually in the BKB, so it doesn't apply, and he'll still bring down the Weaver. It was a great play by Goddamn, but it wasn't enough to net them any kills on the reversal. It's a triple kill for Matumbamin now. Looking at the buyback status, there's one on the Rubik available here, and we'll see if the 4 anchors can get anything out of this. They obviously lost their 2-3 tower. They'd love to push down and maybe try to get another lane of racks.
Need the bash. Right click.
Time lapse. Oh, again, there's been so many opportunities with that time lapse that have just been shut down within milliseconds of it being cast.
Big. And now they're going to try to go back in. Obviously, they didn't have to commit any buybacks or anything to be in the save versus. They just disengaged with their 2 core heroes, and they're trying to, do everything they can to force that Weaver's buyback. But it's not going to happen here. He'll be patient, and yeah, they're just going to have to rotate somebody to defend this bottom lane. It feels like that's kind of important. Your entire base is rooted out. Your tier 4s are being under fire, but they say, screw it, let's go top. Even without the Exorcism, they say there's no Ravage, so there is a good chance we can take this, and it's on the Art's command, I believe. He's going to blink right on to Trixie.
The Shivas will go out. Now the Shadow Dance going to get some of those bashes in as well. Affinage, 30 seconds on cooldown with that Exorcism. He'll use up to buy some time. He's got the BKB as well. Boogie going to go ahead and Berserker Call right on through that. They're trying to get him low. Boogie, though. And yeah, BKB TP out. That was, what, the 8-second charge? So more than enough time to take a couple steps and then throw the TP out. After,
yeah,
of course, Berserker's Call is already used, so.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's one of those interesting situations where you aren't sure whether or not that was the right call because of the risk that it involved, but the goal was to force a Weaver's buyback, and they succeeded in that. Oh, yeah. Sad Zeus is sad. It's a double damage Slark coming out of the woodwork right on your face. That is not what you're looking for in this game here. But yeah, doing 1,700 damage in mere seconds. And forcing the Weaver buyback, I think that was a really big deal. Like, obviously he has a lot of reliable gold because he's had this Midas for so long. Hell, after that buyback, he still has 1,700 reliable. So Matumbamin managing his gold very, very well. But still, it is a costly buyback at 1,300 gold.
Yeah, and Jarex dodging death, perhaps. Maybe not quite dodge. He has a TP if he wants to leave. HellRaisers actually looking for bigger targets besides the Ogre. They'll go ahead and tackle the Roshan right now. Bringing it down, they got the Aegis once again. Going to put it up on the Slark. Scotty Blink, Abyssal, Midas. You talked about his gold managing, doing very, very well. 2,000 in the bank right now. Most of it reliable.
Oh, didn't go for goals. Okay, so we've got Ogre slipping through, just doing a little bit of split push, and they realize they have to push out the bottom lane now. That's even though the tier 3's down up top, they realize how weak their bottom lane is base-wise, and they just have to kind of keep the equilibrium equalized, and that's why they're here on the front lines. Boogie, nice little hiding spot here, but still no Agadims. He's actually going to probably have to buy back this fight because he's going to be the initiator, so he's probably not going to see the Ags anytime soon. But Zeus is back up. He still is pretty far off the refresher orb. Still needs about 2/3 of the perseverance.
All right, Exorcism will go out. Fortify is available here. Weaver with the Javelin, a little bit more of that piercing through the armor, just some more damage as well. And
That's a very early Shadow Dance. I'm
Artest is going to
surprised.
jump in. He initiates with the Shadow Dance right off of the Blink, and he'll get used up afterwards. He'll actually Dark Pact off of it. They will kill the Ogre, but it is just an Ogre. He's down for 50. Meanwhile, Tide going to be ravaged up, and we'll ravaged up. Going to be Yulesed up, and here, goddamn it, way on the back line, looking for the steal, just waiting for it. He's going to find it again, I think, but no, good. Amazing Thunder God's Wrath afterwards. That disables the Blink in, and goddamn not able to find the Ravage this time. So great communication there for the Anchors, and that was actually quite a play. Zeus, though, will be forced to buy back again after making it.
Still, they're coming back in with nearly full HP here. Both ultis healing the cores up. Slark with the Shadow Dance out of the fight, back into it now, right onto Trixie. And Ninja, his Exorcism gave him full HP right when the Ravage was coming out. Even got the BKB off against it.
Wow,
They're
so many
right
buybacks.
now.
That's
2
three.
BKBs, taking the racks. And they still have the Aegis right here that's going to go down from Arts. Boogie doesn't even get the chop. It's going to be Trixie to force the Aegis out. A call from Gotham. Oh, how manly this Grand Magus can be. Boogie will fall. Arts just blinking into his deceased corpse and going right on to the Zeus, who can't get away. The defensive Yules trying to keep him in. But it's Gotham with another taunt onto Trixie that keeps Art fighting. Jarex will go down to the bashes. The GG is called. And suddenly, HellRaisers just destroy things. Look at the golden experience graph real quick before we conclude here. They just went from equal gold to a dramatic victory. 14,000 on both counts.
Extremely exponential. Definitely very much so on the experience graph. From 0 to way over 9,000. That's utterly insane. And there we go. That's going to be the HellRaisers' victory. They're actually 2-0 on the day, so they've been playing very well. Fun to see them. Gorak got off to kind of a rough start. Rubik got off to a rough start, 1-6, but I'm tempted to give Rubik even the MVP, especially the plays in that last fight. Also, again, the Tidehunter, he was tired of getting the Ravage stolen, so they decided to sync up. He blinks in Ravage Zeus with the ultimate to disable the blink. I pointed out on camera Rubik was staying so far back, just waiting to blink in and steal, and I really like the play. Unfortunately, the triple buybacks for the Anchors don't work, and another somewhat short game, a little longer than the first two, 42 minutes, HellRaisers' victory. And I don't know, anything else to say about it, or?
I mean, I think it was kind of surprising how it panned out in those last few moments. I feel if the game had lasted 5 minutes longer, we'd be looking at a completely different story. I think that HellRaisers really upped their tempo right when they needed to, right when they got that Abyssal Blade, and if they hadn't, then this game would have been extremely favorable for AC, with the fact that the Refresh Orb was so close. I mean, Zeus literally had it in like 1,000 gold, and it just slipped through their fingers. They had to buy back so many times, and that was costly. So HellRaisers, they up their ante right when they need to, and I gotta say, of course, that Arts played a hell of a Slark.
All right, well, I'm really looking forward to the next game coming up. It's going to be Power Rangers versus Goomba in about 14 minutes, 18:45 CET. Power Rangers versus Goomba next year in Starladder Season 11. Make sure to buy that ticket, get your set, and if you want to support your casters as well, you can do that. I'm Helium on Twitter at HeliumBrella, Blaze here at Blaze Casting, and our great stats guy at Cart Dota. Stick around.